welcome from my little writing space here in Vienna. My name is Louise, and I'm currently trying to write a novel. And this is my January writing vlog, where I tried to get as much work done as possible next to my university work and exam week. And I was trying to write from home, but also go to different places like cafes. And I hope you follow along on this little journey where I try to bring my story to paper. Hello everyone. I participated at National Novel Writing Month this year, and it was actually quite successful. I managed to write 50,000 words, but now I have this huge story that is still quite a big mess. And I must say, I'm quite happy, but I didn't put a lot of time into researching at first before I started writing. And the thing is that, it is historically based, so I should spend a lot more time figuring some things out, doing research, and I would like to take that time to work on the novel, do some research, because I would like to submit it at different spots. I have to figure out where exactly. And I also have to work on the novel and figure out in what direction I want it to go, because it is not finished yet. It doesn't have an ending. I also have 3 different perspectives. They're not all working very well. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do with those 3 different characters, because one character is actually, I really like it. I really feel the voice and the character's perspective. And then there are 2 others that I do like, but they have their moments, and then it's kind of getting a little bit dull and I don't feel the voice anymore. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do with that. And also write like an exposé, what the story is about, before I can submit it anywhere. And I also have a few smaller projects where I would like to write some short stories to different topics, where I might submit it to literature, magazines, papers, whatever. And I haven't had the time to sit down in a very long time now to do some writing since November, and it is now mid of January. So I'll figure out how to spend some time with writing. I might go to the library, because I've wanted to do that for a very long time. There is a beautiful library at the University of Vienna, but at the moment there is exam time, so everyone's super busy and the library is fully booked. I mean, you can just go to a different library and might find a seat there, but I would love to go to that big reading room that they have, and you have to book in advance. So maybe for next week I might get a seat there to work a little bit, and I hope I can figure out some things so I can submit my novel to different places. Voice over me just hopping in for a quick moment, because in a very complicated way I tried to explain that I want to submit my novel to different literature scholarships that you can get here in Austria. There are, for me personally, 3 different options, and I just need to write a proper exposé and then find some good scenes from the novel that are representing the story well enough, and then I can submit it. So that's what I was trying to say here. So I'm currently trying to find 2 texts that I can read at an event tomorrow at the Literature House in Salzburg. And it's about 2.5 hours from Vienna, and I'm going there tomorrow for this event. I have never been there because they do this every once in a while, and I have absolutely no idea if it's going to be interesting. So the event is basically you pick a text that is about 5 minutes long, and then everyone reads their text, and afterwards you discuss them. And you pick a few people who are going like into the next round or something, and they are able to read a second text with 10 minutes. And it's just, I think it sounds really interesting to give you a little bit of, you know, possibilities to connect with other authors or writers, and also to, you know, just have an audience and read your little stories. I don't know what kind of people are going to be there. Are they going to be in my age or maybe older? I don't know. Are they professionals? Are they like just doing it for fun? I really don't know. Maybe it's a good mixture. We'll see. And I have a few ideas of texts that I might bring, but I haven't made up my mind yet what I want to do exactly, because I feel like a lot of the texts that I have in mind have a very similar voice. They are very intense, very emotional, a little bit dystopian. And I feel like I would like to have 2 texts that aren't too similar. The day I went to Salzburg, it snowed, and it made me so happy because winter in Vienna can feel a little bit frustrating when it's just windy and grey and it doesn't snow that much. But on the day I was on the train, it just snowed and it was beautiful. I love being in Salzburg in winter because it's the region where I grew up, and in winter it's just always beautiful, especially with snow. So on the train I picked 2 texts that I wanted to read, and I decided to read a snippet of the novel and then another short story. And I realized at the event that you can actually win the evening. Like when you get enough votes, you win a reading, a paid reading at the Literature House. And I managed to win, and it was quite a surprise, and it made me so happy. The people there were all very lovely and supportive. They gave me some great feedback on my work, and I'm going to read at my own reading in May. So that was a surprise, and I had a very beautiful time at home. And then I went back to Vienna to work again on my exposé, because it was kind of difficult for me to really sit down and figure out how to do that. But I was in a very positive mood, and yeah, I'm happy to have some positive feedback on my work. That's just wonderful. Hello! It is already February. I never made it to the library, but I did manage to write my exposé. So I wasn't writing as much as I was hoping to write, but to be honest, it was exam week by the end of January, and I had so much to do, so I'm actually quite happy with all the time I set aside for writing. I also took a lot of time to read, and I think that's totally fine. I also got some feedback on my expose, and I think it turned out quite all right, because writing an expose is kind of challenging for me, because you have to be very specific about what happens and the characters. You want to give a very good picture of your story. You don't want it to be boring, but you can't be super creative in the writing style, because it's supposed to be like just the plot of your story. But I think it turned out quite okay. I just have to sit down and work through it one more time, and just a few things that aren't perfect yet. And I still haven't had the time to sit down and actually work on the novel itself. So yeah, I might do that in February, or we'll see. The next semester at university starts in March, so I would love to start working on the novel in February, because I have a lot more time now than when the next semester starts, obviously. And I'm really happy with the event that I went to, where I was invited to a reading, to a public reading, but I don't have a lot of information about it yet, so I can't really share much. And I just hope you'll stick around and we can figure it out together. I can bring you along and maybe share some experiences about reading on a stage, because I think that is a quite frightening thing. But I realized I hate being on a stage. I hate acting, and I hate anything where I have to speak to other people. But when it's the context of like a literary context, where I have my text that I can read from a page, where I don't have to improvise or learn anything by heart, I have my piece of paper with my text on it, and then I can just read, and that's something that I actually really love to do. So that's quite funny, even though I don't love to be on a stage. And yeah, we'll see how that turns out. I'm hoping to do a lot more writing in February now, but also a lot of reading. So I'm going to talk about some books that I really enjoyed in January. And now it's time for some tea, and I hope you have a lovely, lovely February as well.